Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is Monday night, January the 5th, time for the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9 o'clock. I'm watching your comments as I always do on the 14 News Facebook page, and I'll be happy to answer any questions when we get to that point in the program coming up in just a bit. Well, first off, we have our first Alert Weather Day for the new year, and that is right now Friday. We may even pull part of late Thursday night into this, and I'll explain here in just a couple of minutes. Basically, what we're tracking going into this end of the week is very mild temperatures, even overnight, only dropping back into the 40s, 60s through Friday, and then a few storms, possibly severe, developing either late Thursday night or Friday. So we will start with the Storm Prediction Center's outlook. This came out this morning and will be updated again tomorrow morning. It entails just western Kentucky, really, for the most part, and then goes well down into the deep south. Now, as always with outlooks, especially 4 or 5 days out, this is going to change, may get bigger, smaller, move north, south, all kinds of things can happen. So this is just an area that's being watched, and you should watch this too. It is never a guarantee that there will be severe weather in that spot, but it is sort of a heads up that there could be. All right, so with that in mind, let's look at a couple of other pieces of information, and we show this here on the First Alert Weather Show at 9. This is a graphic or model that we use off air, and you'll see why here. It's not exactly telegenic, as we say, but the machine learning model is a product that comes out of the Colorado State University, and basically what it does is takes analogs. It takes all of the weather setups going back decades, and through AI, it is able to then generate likely outcomes in the scenario that the models are forecasting. Now remember, this is all models, never a sure thing, and the machine learning model has been actually pretty good in the past year or so that we've been using it. There are misses, just like there are with the Storm Prediction Center and with us, but it is highlighting a fairly large area here, all the Ohio Valley, much of the Mid-South, and portions of the Deep South. And again, this would be for potential severe weather on Friday, and you compare that with the SPC risk. Why the discrepancy? Well, for one thing, there's no human intervention going on here. The AI model simply looks at everything and says, well, this is on average what would happen. The human forecasters can look a little more in a granular way at the models and try to hone in the areas that are most likely. In either case, both are pointing at least a chance for some stronger storms on Friday. And one of the things, or many of the things that we look at are ingredients for severe weather, right? And we do these on the First Alert Weather Show here because we have more time for one thing. And there are a lot of things to go through. So first off, we know the temperature is going into the mid-60s, or at least that's what the forecast guidance is showing us. Dew points are also going to climb, meaning we will have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. We generally consider 60 kind of the cutoff into the mid-60s this time of the year, better for severe weather. There has to be accompanied by other factors, of course, but having the moisture there and the energy is key to getting those storms to develop. So we do have moisture. That is one box checked. Wind gusts, while not necessarily severe, also are indicative of how quickly the warm air would advect or move south to north here from the Gulf. And our forecast wind gusts, and these are peak wind gusts now on the GFS model, are coming up there around 30 to 40 miles per hour late Thursday and Friday. Now that doesn't quite sync up with our Friday arrival time for severe weather, but it at least shows enough of a pressure gradient out there to really pull those winds up at the end of the week. All right, now we're going to talk about CAPE and or potential energy, convective available potential energy. And this is a measure that, not to get too detailed in it, but basically you would take a parcel of air from the surface, lift it, and because of the environment as it goes up, then it would have a different amount of energy available or not available for severe weather. And we see an environment here on Friday, at least going by this, where we would not have a lot of CAPE, certainly not up here in the tri-state, maybe a marginal amount to the south. We can still get severe weather in what we call a high shear, low CAPE environment, where we have a lot of the other elements just not maybe Cape. And so Cape is not showing up very strongly. Shear also not showing up very strongly, at least not on the shear product here in that time frame. But when we look at the low-level jet stream, this is an eye-opener because we are expecting some strong winds late Thursday into early Friday. This is actually Thursday afternoon into the evening. And anytime you get winds here in this tan, 65 and higher, that is usually cause to really keep an eye on things. Now, again, shear alone won't do it. You have to have some kind of lifting mechanism. That'll be the cold front coming in. And so by integrating all of those ingredients for severe weather, we look then at the supercell index. And this is just kind of a spitball projection that the GFS will put out several days in advance. You'll notice too the supercell index is higher to our south. It does touch far southern Illinois over here by Paducah, the Purchase region of western Kentucky. And then by early Friday morning, it's really more over western Tennessee. And again, this is just a snapshot of today's models. This is what the computer modeling is showing us. It could turn out completely different. And tornado risk is not really showing over the tri-state. There are some areas there to the south. So I think the takeaway here is that there's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, I think I just showed it to you. While we do have some elements showing in the models, others are not. Given the big temperature drop, the time of the year, and the setup, though I don't think that the severe weather risk is zero. I think it is probably at this point low, but we will have to keep an eye on things. This is how the models actually bring the warm front through than the cold front. So you would have warmer air and those strong winds on Thursday afternoon and evening. This is Thursday night showing the heaviest precip or convective precip moving through, and then kind of a lull there early Friday morning, followed by another system behind it. Now, this was not showing in the earlier models at all, the snow going up from Chicago down to about Terre Haute or Bloomington. So sometimes that afternoon model run is a little flaky. We tend to lean more on the 12Z, which comes out at 6 a.m., and the 0Z, which will come out here. Hopefully, it'll be out by the 10 o'clock news, or at least enough frames of it that we can tell you. So why did I waste all your time with this? Well, just to basically explain that while we have a threat for severe weather on Friday, the confidence is low and we really don't have a handle on what and what time. Not much useful information just yet, but again, this is Monday, that's Friday. Hopefully in the next day or two things will clarify a little bit, but in the meantime we're going to keep that alert day on there to keep your heads up and keep you looking at the weather. All right, back to the current. We have clear skies out there now, but you can see as we go through the week, the clouds are going to increase. And our temperature will likely peak here Thursday, Friday with those strong southerly winds, and then go back down into the 50s or 40s and 30s there by Saturday and Sunday. So that's the temperature drop you would expect. We're currently at 49 degrees. Keep in mind our normal high this time of the year is 42. So we are working on bonus degrees. You're getting a little break hopefully on your heating costs or energy costs. We started at 28 this morning and got up to 58 this afternoon. Again, these are more like March, April temperatures than January. And anytime we get anomalies like this where it's very warm, typically it ends up with severe weather as we saw last Sunday this time of the year. So all temperatures well above normal for the month now. Today was our warmest day, one of many warmer days to start out 2026. Our seasonal snowfall still stands at 2.1. Of course, we've had no rain yet, so not much to talk about there. Commuting-wise, no issues tomorrow morning, other than there will be more traffic out now with schools back in session and kids and pedestrians out. So just watch out for them while you're out and around. Excuse me, I'm almost over this thing, whatever. I got some good medicine going, so hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday I'll sound like a human being again. Anyway, on the satellite and radar pic, just some clouds breezing through tonight. That's part of a disturbance that's going to move into the Great Lakes tomorrow. While we might have an isolated sprinkle, the main impact will be some early clouds followed by clearing in the afternoon. By Wednesday, then, we clear out very nicely. Thursday, we cloud up again, that first wave of rain shooting to the north, and then the second round probably late Thursday night or early Friday. And I showed you the GFS model earlier, but you can see it there again. I'll kind of fast forward through the majority of it because we've already talked about it, clearing out by early next week. I did want to show you another opinion here. This is the European model. It too is sending rain our way, and it's a little bit earlier in the onset there, 10 o'clock on Thursday night, with the best chance for thunderstorms and then kind of fizzling out and staying as rain there through the weekend. No mention of snow for anybody, at least not anybody close by. 46 degrees tonight and partly cloudy. Tomorrow we should have a high of 61. And over the next 7 days, a typical tri-state winter here where we have spring for about 3 or 4 days and then we drop back down to where it should be. Not abnormally cold there, but it will feel notably colder once we get that 60-degree air out of here. Longer range temperature outlook kind of puts us back in the normal range for the middle of the month and the drier range too. And we're actually kind of teetering on the brink of drought, abnormally dry out there, so we could use some rain. Well, it wouldn't be the First Alert Weather Show at 9 without pet picks, and we keep them coming here. The Riley Seibert has a good supply of them. This is Chromeberry and Princess. I think we've seen them each individually, now together, and I think Chromeberry definitely is the protector in that relationship. And I'm not sure if that's a smile or a snarl. You all can weigh in on that. I'm going to look at your comments now and see what we have here. All right, we will start here. Shelley Allman says, hey. Hey, Shelley. Zach Seeds, Evansville getting an outbreak of severe weather Friday. Zach, at this point, I wouldn't say outbreak. I would say storms are possible. Even whether we will have severe in the tri-state is still a question mark. I think the favored area, if we get any, would be western Kentucky. Paula Schaefer says, good evening. Shelley says, strange winter weather. Yeah, it's been more like spring, hadn't it, though? I mean, how do you plan for this? Yeah, I guess you don't plan, but yeah, a couple of weeks ago we were freezing, and now we're getting this. But we'll just kind of have to see how it plays out, right? I say that a lot, but that's really it's that dad in me saying we'll see, because we just don't know for sure until we get a little bit closer. Science Corner, we'll talk about some odd cloud formations that we often see, sometimes this time of the year. Asperatus and gravity wave clouds, they are both connected because the waves, the gravity waves in the atmosphere sometimes reveal themselves in cloud formations, and that's because the atmosphere is a fluid, just like water. And so it has waves that can move through it, waves that can propagate out. They can move sideways or up and down. When we move up, we tend to cause condensation, and that's where clouds form at the peaks of these troughs and dips. Or that would be the trough would be here, and that would be the top of it. What am I trying to say? The crest. So that's typically where you would see rows of clouds or cloud formations. In this situation, we have a very kind of wispy look to it, and those gravity wave clouds are pretty obvious. And if you've ever wondered why clouds float, there's a very good reason. They are less dense than the air around them. Even though they're huge and they could weigh over 1 million pounds, they are comprised of an infinite number, not infinite, but a huge number of tiny, tiny molecular water droplets, which can be suspended. And what happens is, over time, as a cloud grows, it has more and more water up there, right? You could have 250 metric tons of water, many thousands, tens of thousands of gallons up there. And what happens is, and those water droplets are overcoming gravity because they've ridden up, and they are floating. They are less dense than the air down here below. When the cloud then becomes saturated and the water droplets move closer together and then kind of connect, they collide, they coalesce, and they turn into bigger water droplets. Eventually, gravity can't hold them up anymore, and that's when we get rain or precipitation. The cloud bursts, basically, and the water comes back down to Earth. All right, we have a couple more questions and comments here. Hope the storms stay away. Oh, your birthday, 74th. Well, congratulations on Friday. All right. Well, in that case, we'll scratch out all severe weather. How about that? All right. Karen Duckworth, is Union County, Kentucky. Yeah, Western Kentucky, at least as of today, looks like the more likely spot for some thunderstorms to develop and maybe severe. But like I said, this is Monday, that's Friday, things will change. But that's the best information that we have today. Yo-yo weather, I like it. You should be writing for an ad agency here. You can market our weather. Unless you're talking about me, I'm not exactly a yo-yo, a buffoon at times maybe, not a yo-yo. Let's see, Sergeant Williams, good evening. And I think I saw one, there's Lenny Howard. I think I said Lenny already, but anyway, all right. So anyhow, that's all I have for you this evening. How to post pet pics. I'm sorry, I didn't answer that question. The easiest way, so that I'll see them and can put them on here quickly, is to go to 14news.com, our webpage. And at the very top, you'll see Submit Photos. And you just click on that and you put them in through your computer. If you want to do it on a mobile device, you can do it through the 14 News app or the 14 First Alert weather app. You just scroll down, you'll see a Submit Photo button. Push that, put your picture in, caption it, and send it on its way. And I'm always glad to see those. We get a lot of great pictures here daily. But I tend to burn through those pet pics pretty quick, showing, one a day or so. So I'm always looking for those. I'll show you some bird pictures. I got one of these, my kids gave me one of these feeders, with a camera on it. But what I discovered is every car that's passing on the street triggers the motion thing. So I get like 40 pictures of the back ends of cars going down the street. So I got to reconfigure and dink with the settings a little bit, so I'm just getting birds. And so far I've had one bird. I'm sure it's the same bird that's like taken over this bird feeder, Bird Buddy. Yeah, it has to be the same bird. I mean, in the front I see cardinals and all the different kinds, but on this one it's just this one chickadee, and it just all the time. So I don't know if it's just taken over or if it's the only one brave enough, because my cats are usually in the window looking out. My wife thinks I'm too obsessed with this thing, but I like gadgets. And it's good to look at the birds too. So, somebody else commented in. Maybe somebody has nope, nobody has any bird tips for me. Okay, I think I got everybody's questions answered then. Enough yammering for now. I will see you on 14 News at 10. You all have a great night. Please stay safe.